Okay, let's get back to the topic at hand. Did we have anything else we wanted to say on the Android stuff, or just move on?
Let's see. Just gonna do a quick summary of everything that we have here so that we can skip over it and still have something. The Samsung Tab has been released.
Okay.
Fie Fox Mobile has been ported to Android. It's in alpha right now.
Yeah, talk to me when it's in beta. Mozilla alphas are not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, this is true. I actually did install it on my phone, and the thing was slow as all get out.
Well, now see,
looks like it has potential.
Well, now see, here's the thing. Once upon a time, alpha and beta testing were for actually testing stuff and messing with things, and then beta testing became the product's finished. We just have it tested in every possible scenario, but it's like 99% stable. So that's what people expect from tests now. A Mozilla alpha is a Mozilla alpha. This is alpha testing. This is not a end user ready product.
It's the first alpha too, so it's like the worst of the bunch. Like,
yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. As far as it goes, though, I saw the user interface that they were going for on this thing, and honestly, that looks really nice. They show you the websites that you load on your entire screen right as it goes, but you can move the screen, and over on the left you'll see a tab bar kind of thing, and over on the right you'll see a bookmark bar kind of thing. Could be a little awkward if there's no kind of locking thing to make sure that you're not accidentally going over to the tab bar or bookmarks bar, but as far as concepts go, it looks pretty nice.
Okay.
I'm going to keep my eye on that one.
What I would like to see is them take advantage, especially in Android, of the multiple desktop stuff, but I don't think they're going to do that just because iOS doesn't have that, and I have a feeling this is meant for all mobile devices, not just Linux. So, yeah. But it's only in Android, or is it on iOS also?
It's not on iOS yet. It's also on some other Nokia phone thing, but okay. Android is like the only big one.
Okay. Any of these other little yellow stories you want to go over, or?
Let's see, going back to reading them all out, there's a Bing mobile app for Android. It's Verizon only.
I could care less.
Yeah, me too. See, they're releasing an Android tablet with the same kind of 3D technology that they're putting in the Nintendo 3DS. That means that whole head tracker thing where it figures out where your head is in relation to the screen and then uses that to create full 3D images.
Okay. Be interesting to see what use is made of that. It's one of those kind of geeky things right now.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that bottom one doesn't even need to be said. That's not news.
Yeah. Okay.
So everything else is applicable to the elephant in the room.
Yeah. Okay. Which elephant do you want to start with? I guess we'll save the obvious for last, and we'll start with the iPods.
All right.
It's like, okay, for all you Apple fanboys who are saying, you biased pricks, right to care of, I do a show with somebody who actually thinks Apple is the best OEM, and y'all considered him biased. So I don't know how to please you people. I'm not going to stick Apple on a pedestal. I don't stick Android on a pedestal, and I like Android. I don't stick Linux on a pedestal, and I like Linux. I am definitely not going to stick Apple on a pedestal.
Well, you're arguing with a hive mind. It's never possible to please a hive mind.
I guess. Okay, I guess the obvious one is the Shuffle. which, you know, me and Bit already went over this, so you know where I stand on this, and everybody who watches this channel knows where I stand on this. Where do you stand on this?
As far as the shuffle, it's kind of boring, but I don't know. As far as a lower end MP3 player, it's not too bad.
No, I mean, it's fine for what it is. I just find it hysterical that, you know, the big improvement is basically turning version 4 back into version 2 as more storage. It's just... Oh, well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Summed up.
Oh, no, it's a boring iPod. There's not even a screen or anything. It just plays music. What else is there to say about it?
Yeah, it's like, honestly, I'm a fan of the basic iPod UI. It's like, it is simple, it is good, it's just a good UI. The shuffle, it's one of those, you have to sit down and read the manual to even be able to figure out, it's like, okay, here's what I do to do this. And yada yada and so forth. So I don't know. Okay, what do you think of the Nano?
Not as good as the previous generation.
Okay, you've stepped into it now. Let's go ahead, explain your thought all the way out.
Well, it has entirely to do with the... let's see, what was I thinking when I was actually watching this thing? First thing, when Steve Jobs announced it was multi-touch, I'm sitting there thinking, this thing is just barely wider than your finger. Why does it need to be multi-touch? And that was before they showed the whole screen flipping thing that they kind of do. But it also seems like you could make that obsolete a lot less expensively if you put a swivel on the clip thing.
Yeah, but since when does Apple care about making anything affordable?
I don't know, it just seems like they sacrificed something really good, the whole video playback and video recording from the previous generation, for something that really doesn't matter, touchscreen.
Okay, I get your logic there, but honestly, if you wanted video playback and you want an iPod, you're better off to buy one of two devices. Either the classic iPod, which doesn't get any news attention anymore, but Apple still sells, I think. Don't they? The classic iPod that's now an iPod video? Okay. Or the Touch. Because those at least have a big enough screen that you can actually see the video. On the Nano, it having video was one of those, like, okay, it's a great gimmick, but the screen is slightly bigger than a postage stamp.
I can see that. But it was still kind of nice to have one of those cheap little MP3 players also be able to take videos with you wherever you go.
Again, like I gotta agree with Bit. I don't think they made the wrong decision removing those features. The only bad thing with removing those features is that all the fanboys who, you know, spent the last year or so basically saying Apple is better because it has this feature that now the almighty Jobs has determined is not only not necessary, but not a good idea for this device. It's one of those, it's like... yeah, I have yet to see any of the fanboys who took that stance praise the Nano. I've seen the review sites point this blazing, these two must-have features are now removed in favor of the touchscreen, like you say. I personally don't think it was the wrong decision. The only thing I think that I have a problem with the current Nano, aside from the obvious problem with the iPod line in general, is, like you say, there's no physical buttons on it now. And that now the Nano suffers from the same problem that the Touch does. And there's, go on YouTube, view, Touch sucks, iPod Touch sucks, and so forth. There is a group of users who just want physical buttons. They can't get used to this all-touch interface, and now the only device for those people is the classic iPod.
Or the Shuffle.
Or the Shuffle. But, if somebody was buying the Nano, they wanted the screen. They wanted that stuff.
Right.
So now their only option is the old classic iPod. And, I can see a lot of people that were buying the older version of the Nano, because the older version of the Nano is just that right size aside from video. If you just need a music player and you're a fan of that wheel interface and that stuff, it really is just the right size for that. And it's priced about right for what it is. Honestly, for a grade schooler to middle schoolers, I need a Walkman. I don't need a multifunction device. I have a phone because my parents bought me one as part of their family plan and everything else, so I have a camera and all that other stuff. Honestly, the Nano fit that niche perfectly, as long as they weren't using certain operating systems at home. So it's now the Nano has some of the problems that the Touch has. It's like
another thing about the Nano is just that a lot of the design of it seems to be going around the idea that it can become a watch. Does that seem like a good idea to you? I imagine that it would be awkward listening to music out of your watch.
Okay, honestly, that's a 50-50 thing. You're talking to somebody who used to own a radio watch. So it's honestly, if I have
some sort of background in similar kinds of devices.
And honestly, if the weight ratio is right on them, and you're one of these people who wants that device, but it's a niche market, and it's one of those things. When I had a radio watch, half the people who saw me with was like, "That's the coolest thing ever. Where the hell do I get one?" The other half of the people was like, "God, you're such a loser." It's like, and that's the thing. It's one of those. There is not a middle ground. It's a love-hate thing.
For me, I think that what would get me about the whole idea of a radio watch kind of thing is just that I don't like the idea of swinging my headphones around on my arm like that. That would get annoying to me. It would feel wrong.
Well, no, it honestly depends what you're doing and how you're doing and what's going on.
And that makes sense, but...
Well, honestly, what I see being the new case for the new Nanos is honestly something you hang around your neck like a stopwatch. Nobody's made that case yet, but I guarantee it's coming.
Well, still, if Apple really did want to go the watch route with this whole
Why isn't there a watch band on it?
But, yeah, they could do that, make it actually a watch, but I'm just saying, they could... There's Bluetooth headset devices out there. They could use that for broadcasting the music so that you're not swinging around your headphones like that.
If people do start using this thing as a watch, people are going to claim Apple invented the MP3 watch, despite the fact sites like ThinkGeek have been selling watch USB drives that also function as video players and media players and stuff for years.
It's like I've seen pictures online of watches with a full Linux operating system on them too. So
yeah, these devices do exist. They're geek devices. They're a niche market. It's some people want them, some people can't stand them. Anyways,